Again, my name is Deb Lawrence, and I serve here as Vice President General Counsel, and I'm thrilled to welcome you to our newest building, Alumni Hall. Hopefully you've enjoyed your lunch by Airmark. So let's thank all the Airmark staff and app staff that are working this. 300 box lunches is quite something to see, I'll have to tell you that. That was quite an endeavor. So we are thrilled to have both of our mayoral candidates here with us this year at Neighbor Power. Obviously, you all believe, like we do, that thriving neighborhoods make a thriving city, and the collaboration between the city, led by the mayor, and our neighborhoods can result in an even greater city with more resources and opportunities for families, businesses, individuals, and communities to thrive and to blossom. So the inspiring stories we heard this morning and the ones that we're going to share this afternoon, I'm sure, are testament to what we can all do when we come together, share, and work together to improve our neighborhoods. It's also true that even more can be done when the city comes alongside us as a partner, as we heard from in the 101 workshops this morning. So we're looking very much forward to hearing what both of our mayoral candidates have to say about their vision for our neighborhoods. And so let's warmly welcome both of the candidates to Neighbor Power 2015.
Good afternoon again. For these lunchtime presentations, each of our candidates will have 5 minutes to share their vision for neighborhoods that would guide their administration if they're elected to office next month, just around the corner. This forum is not a political debate, but a welcome opportunity to have the candidates share with engaged neighbors throughout the city their vision for neighborhoods and to recognize the power of positive transformation coming from our neighborhoods throughout Indianapolis. There will not be any question and answer time after the presentation, but each of the candidates has agreed to stay around a little bit until our next set of think tank or forums, which begin at 1:30. So you will, many of you have spoken with them prior to their presentations, and they'll be around a little bit later to continue that dialogue with you. And we'll be reconvening after the forum and the think tank back in the theater at 2:40 for our awards ceremony. So I now invite Chuck Brewer to please come to the podium and share his vision. And the clock will be right here.
All right, well, good afternoon. Good. Well, it is a pleasure for me to be here talking to you today about neighborhoods. At the end of the day, when we think about what's important to us in our city, oh, thank you. It's only going to last 5 minutes, so I don't know how harsh that will get, but I promise to use it if I need it. When we think about neighborhoods, we think about the backbone of our city. We think about our identity. A lot of us say that we're proud of being from Indianapolis. But when we talk to our family and our friends, we love our neighborhoods, don't we? When we look out of our windows, we see our street. We see our neighbors. We have a sense of community about where we are from. In Indianapolis today, there has been a tremendous amount of focus and a very limited amount of resources. And those resources have been focused in the downtown environment. And the truth of the matter is that those plans and those resources have worked. The downtown area is economically very successful now. We have seen a tremendous improvement in the amount of activity, economic, and otherwise in the downtown environment, and we're proud of it. And if we didn't focus any more on downtown, I'm sure it would be fine, and the experts all agree. Now is the time to start shifting our attention, our energy, and our focus and our resources out to the neighborhood. Don't you agree? So what I wanted to talk to you about today is what those plans are, how we've been executing them, and what they should be. Now, when we think about and talk about what the most pressing issues are in the city, there's really three things. Public safety, safe and strong neighborhoods, education, the access and the availability of high-quality education in our neighborhoods, and then economic development, the accessibility to jobs. And as we talk about those things in the city right now, we've all got our beefs. And in some areas of our city, in some neighborhoods, we're talking with great energy about public safety. In other neighborhoods, the topic isn't about public safety, it's about schools for our kids. But the city has to have leaders that can talk about all of those issues all at once. I know that throughout the course of the day, we've been going through a number of different workshops. And there's been lots of talk about innovation, thinking about doing things in our neighborhoods differently, finding resources in the city and bringing them closer to our neighborhoods, finding grants. There are some neighborhood organizations around this city that have come together very effectively, and they have put together quality of life plans. Those quality of life plans have found partners through organizations like LISC. LISC has taken that quality of life plan to the city. The city's put some money behind it, not a lot, but a little. And then once that seed is planted, then nonprofit organizations and philanthropic groups place grants into that neighborhood organization. And what they're able to accomplish, I know that you've talked about some of this today, is incredible. They're able to accomplish things inside infrastructure, cultural activities that start to build the branding and the infrastructure of a neighborhood. Now, I'm a small business owner, and I think about a lot of our traditional city problems in a business format. We need to get to the point where all of our neighborhoods are unique and have something very different to offer people. We need to start thinking about our neighborhoods and branding them in a way that promotes all of their special attributes, and they're all different, but finding ways to attract people to want to live in Indianapolis and not just commute here on a daily basis, which, by the way, that happens to the tune of 200,000 people. I get it. 200,000 people every day. We're going to get to that point, but we have to get to it by thinking about our neighborhoods in different ways. I'm Chuck Brewer, and I'm running for mayor. Thank you very much.
Okay, we did a lost and found, and we thought we had found the owner of these glasses, but guess what? They're not the owner. So we still have some gentlemen's glasses that are available for someone to claim. Okay, and now we will welcome Joe Hogsett to share his vision for Indianapolis.
A small town father.
5 minutes, let's get going. Thank you for having me, and I'm pleased and honored to be here with my distinguished opponent, Chuck Brewer. Let's give Chuck another round of applause. He's a great campaigner, a passionate advocate, and I'm pleased to be with him today. Many of you will remember that Mayor Bill Hudnut used to say, "You can't be a suburb of nothing." Remember that? I mean, and Chuck, was referring to that in terms of he was trying to get a lot of investment downtown. And it, as Chuck identified, has worked. We have beautiful downtown. Well, if I could be so bold today, I'd like to offer you what I call the Hogsett corollary to the Hudnut Doctrine. You cannot be a downtown of nothing. Our downtown is wonderful, but the rising tide we see downtown may very well dissipate if we don't have strong growing neighborhoods outside the mile square. For the last year, I traveled across our city, meeting with neighborhood associations and other groups, civic in nature, and I have put together a plan that addresses the two things that I heard most often when I met with those groups. First, if we're truly to bring our city together and move Indianapolis forward, we must ensure that no neighborhood gets left behind. The second thing I've learned, and as part of the plan that I have proposed, neighborhood development doesn't come from the top down. And that's why this plan focuses on equipping every neighborhood in our city with the tools that you need to help yourselves, which, by the way, is what the Indianapolis Neighborhood Resource Center does uniquely well. With these principles in mind, I put together my neighborhood's platform or plan or policy, whatever you want to call it, which you can find on my website, www.joehogsett.com. I encourage you to access it and read it at length. It begins with a comprehensive improvement program so that every single neighborhood, no matter where you are in the spectrum of development, are given the resources and assistance necessary to create the quality of life planning document and then support the implementation of that plan. My neighborhood's plan calls for the creation of a mayoral-led neighborhood identity initiative so that every citizen has the same sense of place that so many in this room feel toward the place that you all call home. And as many of you have seen in local media reports, my neighborhood plan would commission the first comprehensive inventory of abandoned and neglected buildings in a generation so that neighborhoods can make reasoned judgments as to what is best for them. Whether that be holding the absentee landlord accountable, encouraging rehabilitation and reclamation of homes that can be saved and should be saved, and providing a clear community-based process for deciding how homes beyond repair should be dealt with. I also want to build on the city's current neighborhood liaison program, which I would like to rename the Neighborhood Advocate Initiative. We have some great neighborhood liaisons working in our community, and we should be proud of their efforts. But I believe we need to grow their numbers and direct their efforts toward community development. In this way, these newly named neighborhood advocates will have a clear direction from the mayor that their role is to communicate neighborhood interests to the city, not the city's interests to the neighborhoods. Finally, if there's one thing that's more important for you to understand than any of these individual policies, it is this. If I happen to be elected mayor, our city's neighborhoods will have an open line of communication, not to the mayor's office, but to the mayor. And I will be a tireless advocate on behalf of neighborhoods. Last night at our debate, Chuck and I talked about neighborhoods, and I was asked a question prior to the debate. What do you want in one word, what do you want, this is a good way to end it. In one word, what do you want your legacy if you're elected mayor what do you want your legacy to be? One word. I said neighborhoods. All right,